Welcome to the Basin Show. This is our first episode. We're just gonna do kind of a less controversial topic for the first one, just so we can get used to doing this and talking to each other and debating.
In front of a camera. The camera's a big thing.
Yeah.
Braden intimidates me too, so I've got to get used to that.
I know. I'm just a scary guy.
Well, so our first topic today is gonna be about movie remakes and other media remaking.
Yeah. Remakes, remasters,
all those things. So basically, whether it's a good thing, whether we like them, if we remember the actual remake more than the original, and just kind of our takes on whether it was just a cash grab or just,
or if it was
the
actually
best thing for the medium. So, all right. So, who wants to start here? What do we want to talk about first? Was it music or movies?
I don't think we really need to put like a category on it. Just
okay.
What side are you on, I guess, is the good way to start this.
Dude, I have no clue. I'm dead in the middle because I think a lot of remakes are done really well. Yeah. And I think they pay, like the series or whatever they did or the song before it, they pay like a decent tribute to it. Mm-hmm. But then I think there's some that are just a crash grab and they go in and completely M. Night Shyamalan the crap out of a movie and just destroy everything that everyone loves about it. And they did it just to make a few bucks.
Right.
Right.
So you're specifically talking about the Avatar.
Yeah, let's start there. Yeah. So, let's start with the Avatar the Last Airbender remake.
So, full disclosure, we're all fans of the original series, specifically the original series. So, a lot of our views are skewed by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone is skewed the other way.
5% of Rotten Tomatoes people liked it. 5%? Okay, well, let's pick at it this way then. Where did that movie go wrong?
Yeah.
And why is that just a general thing for remakes that people don't like when you see a bad remake?
I wonder if this is less of a remake and more of an adaptation issue, which we can also include, and it's not that different.
Yeah, there's a lot of
remakes.
Disney adaptations we can throw in too.
Yeah.
I think first off, the directing, especially during the fight scenes of the Avatar, was some crap. It was a bunch of steady cam work that didn't match the tempo of a normal fight scene or anything else other than maybe like a slow dance. That's how I would describe the action camera work. It was, you've hit this person, I'll move my camera this way, you hit that person, and then I'll do this way, and then I show the rock flying the other way. And that was basically the extent of the creativity in those scenes, and it ruined it for me because I like the visual aspects of movie storytelling, and like when I think of like a good example would be like Martin Scorsese, just his way he can use visual storytelling and things like that in his films.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that, like once again, theater nerd, blocking. I appreciate it when there is like the main thing going on, but then there's also blocking for other characters in the background. They're doing something, and there's something going on. A lot of the fight scenes in that movie, there's like the thing that's going on, and then everyone just kind of standing there watching it. It's weird. It's really weird from a blocking standpoint, in my opinion. It's weird that like in the Avatar, the scene with the Earthbenders, right, when they're in like the camp thing, specifically. They're just kind of watching each character do their thing, and you have like the good guys and the bad guys standing there not interacting, just watching. Like, why are they not doing like why is there a conflict between the background unnamed characters? There should be. It would make sense, right? Yeah.
So, kind of to like talk about that a little bit though. So let's say that someone that wasn't just a horrible director directed it, and it had decent, like the filmmaking part was decent. But they still stuck with Aang,
The weird
Avatar, Sokka, and the lackluster bending in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
The effects, yeah.
Like, would you have liked it at that point, or did it branch off too much and make it too different, or try to be too unique in its adaptation that you wouldn't have enjoyed it?
I think
the whole name thing was very distracting.
Yeah, it was.
It's almost disrespectful, in all honesty.
Like, I bet you they were probably going for that's probably the correct Asiatic pronunciation, or trying to be more correct, which is, I can respect it. It's just a little weird for people who watch the series when we're more likely to see the movie because they like the series, right? It's a little weird. I will say, like, with like the effects, that's one of those few instances where, like, if you had a lot of effects, it wouldn't have looked that bad because it's a fictional, like, that doesn't, you're not gonna make it look realistic. That doesn't work. That's not how real life works. So it would have been fine to have more effects. Probably would have cost more, and that's probably another issue.
It would have cost more,
What do
but
you think the budget of that movie was?
I don't know.
Massive, but
It was
not,
Nickelodeon who made it, right?
yeah, it's probably massive, but like not large compared to
Massive
other
to
films.
us, but for movies
Compared to other
probably
like
not
like
that much.
Avatar, like Blue People Avatar, probably much smaller budget for effects and whatnot. I would imagine.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I mean the effects in it weren't bad.
Yeah,
So
The little they had,
yeah.
150 million US dollars.
150 million.
I don't know where that money went.
It's not
But,
that.
feeding the crew.
Well, child actors too. You don't
Yeah.
really have to pay them very much.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, another thing was just the casting itself. They made the entire Fire Nation all of a sudden Indian.
Yeah.
Which, it's not nothing wrong. They're Indian. They're just not anything like what we picture the Fire Nation. It's usually, I guess, Japanese. Is
yeah,
what they
yeah,
do.
very,
Well,
very well, you know.
And it
yeah.
was also odd that they decided, okay, like it's an Asiatic film. We're going to incorporate one nation as Asians, and then we're going to leave all the good guys is the white guys. I thought that was kind of weird because there wasn't really any other diversity there.
Yeah.
Sorry, just for comparison, I just looked it up. The budget for the James Cameron film Avatar, Blue People one, had a budget of about $240 million. For comparison.
So
Came out about the same time,
Double.
but has a lot of very heavy effects use, just as a comparison. Bad
Yeah,
comparison,
and you don't
but
need-
a comparison.
the whole Avatar Blue People
Yeah.
entirely was CGI.
Yeah.
Entirely.
Oh,
So
yeah, motion capture, which is very expensive, or
Mhm.
would have been back in 2009, 11 years ago.
yeah.
Sorry, just for comparison's sake.
Yeah, and I feel like just the storytelling, it didn't match the series at all. Like, they were very adamant about explaining every single detail instead of showing you. And we talked about this before. It's better to show someone the story than to tell them the story, to narrate
And
every
that definitely
scene.
goes back to the filmmaking part, man.
Yeah,
Like,
it's whoever, I guess the writers, or I guess the story, the story blocking and all that.
Yeah.
They were misguided in how they decided to approach that.
well, and it's also odd too because M. Night Shyamalan came out with like The Sixth Sense, and there was a lot of like showing and not telling in that movie, and then
Yeah.
he moves to this one, and it's
Yeah, and then completely change everything.
Yeah, but then again, like, who knows how much, like, because I know studio interference is a big thing with movie making, too.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that happened. Of course, we don't know. We're just a bunch of scrubs with a camera and some cheap mics. Like, what do we know? But yeah, no, I don't know.
So, I think we've already crapped on Avatar enough.
No, we haven't. we'll come back
It might
to it at
deserve
some
more, but we can move on
we
for a
should
second
go back
here.
and do like a review.
Maybe we should have
point.
just
Let's watch
an
yeah,
hour of us just
well,
crapping
no,
on it.
It'll be like 3.
We
or
could
more.
just like
Watch the movie.
watch the
pause through
movie
it.
and have a reaction video, but
Maybe.
we already did that though. We just didn't film it.
Yeah.
Well, you can always change that.
So,
Yeah.
kind of on that track, then, what do you guys think of Disney and its herd of live action animations that they've been doing?
You know, some of them I think have been pleasantly surprising.
What did you think of, what was it, like Beauty and the Beast?
I liked Beauty and
I
the
thought
Beast.
it was awesome, man.
I like Beauty and the Beast. Some people didn't like it, but I thought that the addition to different songs were fitting enough to the original songs that they blended in. You almost didn't catch them. Like, oh my gosh, that is a new song. And then when, like, if you went to, I don't know, I personally didn't like Lion King.
I didn't see
Uh,
it.
It wasn't great.
I mean, it was the same exact story, and then there was a song, but it wasn't written by Elton John. It was written by Beyonce, I'm pretty sure, or at least she sung it. And it didn't match the rest of the song, and I was super disappointed because that was a super dramatic scene of Simba running back to, I guess, his pride. It was like, I can't remember what the first song was, but it was more of just intense thematic music. And this one was like uplifting and spirit. It was the spirit song was in that, and I was like,
It's
it
weird.
doesn't match. It doesn't match. And
Yeah.
and it was, the CGI was amazing, but it didn't lend itself to better storytelling. in this case.
Well, and I mean,
I don't think.
I think that the one that Will Smith was in, the genie one.
Aladdin?
Aladdin, yeah.
You know
Aladdin did the same thing where, like, I thought it was going okay, and then they had this just new song that they threw in almost, and it didn't fit very well. It was like, I think when Jasmine was, like, walking away from her dad or something. And
It was silence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it, like, froze time or something, and I feel like it just killed the momentum of that scene. Because that's where, like, the cartoon really picked up, and events started happening, and I feel like it just, it was speeding up, and it just stopped it.
It literally stopped it.
Yeah, literally stopped the entire scene.
Yeah, and it in back to the Beauty and the Beast, the song they put in was the Beast, like, mourning over her leaving, and that was just another side of the story that we didn't see before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was an addition, but it didn't slow anything down. It was just another take of it. You know what I mean?
So I think the live-action Beauty and the Beast was a very good exercise in autotune.
Hey, you don't know. Maybe Emma Watson does have a great voice.
There were some moments where I remember I was watching it. I was dating a girl at the time, and she wanted to watch it. I wasn't there to watch the movie, and it bothered me the one time I saw it, and I wasn't even focused on that. And I was like, that it bothers me. So that's why
The auto-tune itself.
Yes, and I wasn't even watching the movie that much.
But
I had other things.
You have to understand that you are a
audiophile, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
and I get it.
I'm mostly joking. I mostly just wanted to make the joke. So I very much feel like the additions they put into the live-action films are a lot like the extended edition in the Hobbit films. Why is that in there? What does it do for the story?
You mean the scene where, like, the dwarves are,
Or
like,
singing and dancing on a
or, like, they're naked in the creek? Like, what does that do?
No, I don't.
You already got that they were a rowdy bunch. You didn't need to like include that.
It doesn't really help characterization that much. Granted, I haven't seen all of them. I don't really care for it. Another issue I have is an issue I have is the money they spend and the time they spend on these things. Why are they just recycling material they've already written? And somebody clearly better than what they have wrote because they can't come up with anything new that is good.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, dude. So I'm looking.
But it's already done.
Lion King. The live-action Lion King's budget was $260 million.
Oh my!
And
that's so much money.
Like, box office weekend, it was about 200. Let's see, it was like 200 million. So they made back a lot of money.
I think worldwide, I don't know how true this was. It was worldwide they made 1.6 billion.
Jeez.
I mean, they definitely make money because people are nostalgic for these films. But I remember after watching, which one was it?
Cinderella?
No, I think it was The Jungle Book. I remember something like, I'd rather just watch the cartoon. Like, that's where my nostalgia is to the original, like the voice actors and all that. Like, it was good, but
yeah, but who has a VCR anymore?
I do.
Now, yeah.
Then again, I'm just weird.
So, Jungle Book, the reason they made that one first is because it wasn't as loved as some of the others.
Right.
And they wanted to test the technology for the other ones.
Yeah.
Like who was next after that? Was it The Beast or was it...
there was something else before Beauty and the Beast.
Maybe it was Lion King they were trying to test it for.
Lion King was the most recent.
Right.
Yeah. 'Cause I think there was something, but I will say those movies are amazing for like the effects development.
Yeah.
Like, cause like always when
So
you have
much is-
mixed animation,
Yeah.
live action, it always looks so uncanny valley. But they've actually got a pretty decent. It's not perfect, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. What are you guys excited about Mulan?
No,
they took
it's
out
nothing
the
like
dragon.
it's nothing like the cartoon.
What's the
I'm
dragon?
excited about it because they did all that.
They changed, but
They changed it. That's what
Okay.
I'm excited about.
But they did change a lot of things to please the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. They changed a lot of things to fit what they wanted.
I have no idea about that.
Yeah,
I have not
it's a
heard
thing.
that.
A lot of movies do this. Like, for example, with Star Wars films, the last three, like the Disney trilogy, in every poster,
Finn is smaller,
yeah,
right?
he's smaller, and
Yeah.
because they don't like black people in China.
Have you seen those posters? It was
Yeah.
the American version.
they
Finn
put
is
the-
like the third in command, and then in the Chinese poster, he's like in the background as a small person
Yeah, yeah.
with a lightsaber.
But I mean, let's be real, man. Disney's just out there to make money.
Oh yeah,
They
no,
don't-
100%.
Like right now, their whole reasoning on getting rid of these older shows or older rides at like the amusement parks for like all the BLM protests is just to go please people, so they keep going to their parks. Like
Exactly.
Disney, they're like the warmongers of entertainment, man. Like,
Oh,
let's
they
be
own
real.
everything too. That's,
At some point, they are in the people-pleasing business.
it
you
makes
know?
sense why they do it. Like,
It makes sense.
Yeah,
I
but
don't.
Jumping ship to abandon your values and abandon one of your actors in one of your best-selling movies in the past few years, that's kind of dirty to me, just because, they
no.
might not like African Americans, so we're going to hide our African American lead.
No, it's not cool.
That's dirty, man.
And like John Boyega is great. Like
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I've liked
Yeah,
him in
he's a
other
great
stuff.
actor.
He's great. Like I think it's a shame they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think that Disney's one of the companies that
No.
has a high moral compass. They figure it out based on what people are going to buy, and then
Yeah.
they're like, we'll stand by this decision now. But like, if there's no money in it, we won't stand up for you.
Yeah. Okay, other things. So what are some examples of remakes, remasters, covers that you think of more than the original? Like, can you think of any off the top of your head? Just
I
Oh,
looked up
dude,
some
shift gears.
earlier today. Ocean's 11.
is that a remake?
True Lies.
I know Italian Job, like the one
Italian
everyone talks
Job.
about, is like the
A lot
remake.
a lot of these are technically remakes, but they're adaptations from foreign films.
Right, but that's still remakes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I guess you wouldn't. I wouldn't. You know, I don't have any interest of watching a movie in Japanese or anything like that because I would get lost because I hate reading personally.
You're not a weeaboo. You don't.
I personally hate reading. I wouldn't watch in Spanish, and I'm Latino. Okay, I would watch.
Yeah, but you don't
If
speak
it was a-
Spanish, so
Right, but if they made a movie in Spanish and then they had voiceover acting, maybe. But I wouldn't do the subtitles.
some of those voiceovers are just
Dude,
so.
have you ever watched the old Godzilla movies? They're amazing. I love them.
it's so
You know,
great.
growing up, I never saw Tarzan in English.
Okay,
We had the VHS in Spanish.
but I saw Phil Collins in English, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got
That's
that.
So that was the
hilarious,
best part.
actually.
You know, it was
As long as you got Phil Collins,
the only
you're good.
you know the only like one-liners I remember were in Spanish. I don't think I've seen it as an adult
Yeah.
in English yet.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Well, when you have a kid, I'm sure you'll get there.
Yeah, we'll see. But what's another one? Oh, we don't.
The example I thought of immediately is the song "It's My Life" by No Doubt. I'm sure you've heard it. It's actually original from the original was from the '80s by a band called Talk Talk. No one's heard the original. Like no
Didn't
one.
Bon Jovi do a cover right after them?
No. It's a different song. It's
Oh, is
It's
it?
My Life. It's
Same title though.
a different song. A very different song. It's
Billy Joel has said "It's My Life" too.
Yeah,
Does he?
yeah. But no, but like I'll play the original one or the new one, the No Doubt version for you later, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But like, there is an original sung by a guy because the one everyone thinks of is the one. No Doubt is Gwen Stefani's old band, right? Everyone thinks of that version. You hear the original sung by a dude. It's kind of like, this is weird. You know what I mean? Like everyone thinks of the original. Although both everyone thinks of the remake rather than the original. Both great, but
Another one I think of in terms of songs is Johnny Cash's "Hurt."
yeah,
That was, I mean,
Nine Inch Nails is good, but the Johnny Cash one has some like, weight
it-
behind it.
yeah, it's freaking oof. You know, like
Yeah.
what is that?
Yeah.
Same with Johnny Cash's cover of Big Iron. It's so different than the Marty Robbins one.
He did a lot more covers than I remembered too.
Yeah.
Like, there's a few
Yeah.
songs I'm like, oh, didn't know you did that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the "Hurt" song, you know, it was towards the end of his life, and he's basically apologizing for
All the terrible
things he did, right? And I guess that song meant something to him, so he decided to do it for himself. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I think of that one first.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
easier to play on guitar.
There's
So
nothing going on.
And that's probably why I know it more, but
Think of all like the Van Halen songs, like the
You
like,
Really Got Me is a cover.
Me. Yeah, it's by the Kinks originally.
Yeah,
but, like
which
I
they're
didn't
great,
even know
but
that.
Yeah.
But
Or
Aerosmith has a few, like
even talking about Aerosmith, Walk This Way. I feel like most people think of the Run DMC like thing they did. Have you heard the Run DMC version?
no.
Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just probably a me thing. I'll show you later. Don't worry about it. I'm going to say that a lot.
So, okay, with these movies, I don't really know how it works for movies. I looked into like how it's done with songs, but let's say you wanted to just go remake a movie or something.
Okay.
Who gets paid? like, is there just a royalty that gets dumped onto the original writers of the movie?
It's
Like
probably
whoever owns the
the
copyright?
probably like the studio that owns the rights
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
So they'd go to Fox. I want to remake this, and this is the things I'm changing, or this
Good
is
luck
the
doing that from Fox.
It,
I
like,
don't
it would it would depend on the
But-
original deal. Like if you're gonna remake a movie, like let's say Tarzan, Disney's Tarzan, right? It would depend on if when they made the cartoon, did they pay out to probably I don't even know if the writer's still alive, but the family of the writer who originally wrote the books. Like if they paid them out, maybe they would have to pay them out again, or maybe they wouldn't because they're remaking a property they already own. So it would just depend on if the studio making the remake owns the originals as well. That would make things a lot easier. It would just depend on what previous deals were for copyrights, because a lot of movies use books, whatever. Games are always the worst movies. Ugh, anyway, that's another topic another day. But
freaking Assassin's Creed.
Doom. Both Doom movies were terrible.
I don't know if I've ever seen Doom.
The first one's funny because it's like old or young Rock Johnson, right? It's bad, really bad. Nothing.
Or Spawn. Spawn was
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, it would probably depend on the studio that makes. I don't know, but I'm guessing. Probably depend on the studio.
Yeah.
It's weird, man, because the way that they do it in music, you basically as an artist don't really have much say if someone can remake your stuff. They pretty much allow you to, and it's like a mechanical license or something like that is what I think they call it. You apply for that, and then any revenue you make off of a record that you make or something, it's like 9 cents. I think it's 9.1 cents per unit ends up going to that original copyright holder. So whether it be most likely the studio that ended up producing it, and then the artist still gets a little bit.
Yeah, it would depend on their contract, but yeah.
Yeah, which you have to have someone go after you for it though. So like I'd imagine that, I don't know, because like you go to a concert, like Green Day will play like some Metallica or like some old Black Sabbath or something at their shows, and apparently if they do that, it'd be like USANA. If they're performing at USANA, USANA's the one who actually has to like get those rights.
Yeah,
And I don't know. It's a weird deal.
Have you heard the lawsuit with Vanilla Ice and Queen?
Yeah.
For the
Who won
Yeah.
that?
I don't know.
I don't know if
That was a while ago, wasn't it?
I don't know if anyone ever won. The only like music copyright thing I can think of is Viva La Vida by Coldplay is actually very, very similar to a Joe Satriani song called If I Could Fly. It's like straight up like that. They stole that.
They stole it.
Yeah, I think they got sued over. I think they settled. I'm not sure. But I know money was exchanged.
That was a big song. It almost would have been worth it. Just steal it and then settle.
I mean, I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know for sure, but I think if memory serves, and it probably doesn't. Yeah.
I just think just overall, if you're going to remake something, make something that's gonna be better than the first one. You know, if the first one was liked, but it lacked certain things that maybe didn't age well, like 80s corny, super corny, like RoboCop and all them, which they didn't do justice in the new one. No. But I guess it was super corny. But then they just took all of that out, and then all of the swearing, all the killing, and made it a PG-13 movie.
Yeah.
And all the good things it had going for it, which was all the murder and all that, they took it out and tried to make it something completely what it was not supposed to be.
I do feel like a lot of like the original IPs that are popular kind of lose the soul of the product when it's remade. Like Red Dawn, the original, is so great. I love that film. The remake was just it was just kind of
When I first saw it, I was like, wow, that's cool, that's awesome, I loved it, whatever.
What, the remake?
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Josh Peck.
Drake.
That's him. Oh my gosh.
Where's the tank?
Child actors that did not stick around or do anything
that's
that
a
they
good one for
could
later.
have, man.
That's a good one for later.
Watching it again, I'd probably be like, okay, this was corny, this was stupid, but I was how old when that came out? Like 12?
The remake of
When did that
Red
come out?
Dawn, like 2012.
Yeah, I was like freaking 12, 13. So I didn't have any opinions back then, but
Back
Pretty
then,
cool.
it was just like
Yeah.
the Michael Bay explosions that got everybody on board.
Yeah. Well,
Michael Bay.
what an odd trend in films we had.
Yeah, so it turns out that David Bowie and Queen sued Vanilla Ice, and then he ended up just basically going to Brian May and buying the rights, just because it was cheaper than even settling in court would have been. So, he's actually Dr. Brian May.
Who's Ryan May?
Brian May is the guitarist for Queen.
Okay.
Yeah, he after Freddie Mercury died, he went back and got his PhD in like some astronomy thing or something like that. But yeah,
I hope you all could hear the rackety Civic going up the street as well, 'cause I could hear it. It's bad.
the remake that no one wanted, but we all got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can move on to remaking cars, seeing if that's worth
it. I've heard it said a lot by a lot of like people in especially people in like the 4x4 world, like, oh, I want Chevy to make a new square body with fuel injection, right? It's never gonna happen. There have been too many advances in safety regulations. Like you need crumple zones, and like I know for a while the U.S. had like a 5 mile an hour pedestrian safety collision thing. That's why a lot of import cars have like bigger bumpers in the States. Like my vehicle has a bigger bumper than it's supposed to have because of the U.S. Canadian pedestrian impact laws. They're never going to be able to remake old cars because of the advances in technology and safety. So like airbags are cool.
Yeah,
You can't have tiny little A and B pillars and also have side impact airbags. It's just not going to fit.
Yeah, it's also not good for the car to, crunch, but that's also safer for the passenger if they get hit.
It's safer for everyone involved if a car will crumple.
except for your bank account. That's
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of the bad part.
Well, yeah. But then again, most of the components are plastic nowadays.
If Ford came out with like a,
the new Bronco,
the new Bronco, yeah,
Remake.
but if
it just dropped, so you guys know.
with like a remastered classic Mustang, I would totally freaking be on board.
There are companies who
There are
do
companies
that,
that do that.
like boutique shops that'll do that, but it's
Yeah.
just
All right,
it's
so
because of safety. It's because of laws,
yeah,
pesky laws,
regulation.
ethics. Who needs them?
All right, so we're gonna be taking this to a closing, just because of our freaking camera doesn't record past 30 minutes.
Thanks, EU.
Yeah, thanks to you. Thanks for your taxes. So any last thoughts before we sign off here?
The European Union sucks. Can I say that? Is that okay
you
to
can say that. Screw them.
We're in America, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
First Amendment
Yeah, that's right. We got one of those for now.
for now.
We'll see.
Yep. Yeah,
Till
just
President
last.
Kanye West steps in, boys.
Yeah.
Then no more freedom for anybody.
No, he's not that bad.
He's pretty bad.
He's just
You gotta watch his campaign rally was. It's something we don't need a remake of because it's terrifying. I think he's actually I think he needs.
he's a better meme
Psychiatric
than Yang ever
help.
was. So part of me is like, I kind of want to see this go somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. My last thoughts on this is like I said, make something better than the first, and if it needs to be remade, maybe because if you could tell the story better with more technology, maybe you should. But if the technology is not worth it to you and the story would suffer, it's not worth it to remake just for money.
I agree, and pay respect to the original, man.
Yeah.
Also, I think a big reason is like if a large group of people liked something the way that it is, they probably like it for more than just the base components. There's probably something more to it, so maybe don't. I'm gonna err on the side of it's not. I would err on the side of maybe don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We'll end it there.